to check in today. I actually am presenting I'm being interviewed for a conference a little later today that is talking about the freelance business and obviously ways to leverage your client relationships and more importantly, how to disconnect from maybe relationships that are no longer profitable to you. And I was thinking to myself, and why I pushed go live today on YouTube is I did a first technical live session yesterday, and it was my first opportunity just to kind of play around with my Ecamm Live software and kind of see where I wanted to go with this. But I pushed it today because I was thinking to myself how far I've actually come in my own journey. And for those of you that don't know me or those that may find this video on my channel, I wrote a book called The Ripple Effect, Maximizing the Power of Relationships for Your Life and Business many years ago, and have spoken in all sorts of different organizations and conference environments and been able to do training and presentations. And it's really funny because getting up in front of an audience or even getting on video is not something that I'm super comfortable with. It's not something that is part of my nature. In fact, actually, when I originally wrote my book, I wrote it for people that were more like me, folks that were introverted and shy. But as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, being introverted and shy is not an excuse or a crutch that you can depend on, not very long anyway, especially if you want to be successful long term. And so I had to get comfortable. I had to figure it out. And as I look at what I'm going to be doing a little later this morning with this live interview for this virtual summit, yeah, I've come so far. This would have just eaten me alive, even a few years back, because I had such anxiety about what I'd say and whether what I had was of value. And I really struggled to find my theoretical mojo, if you will, before I just kind of had and I would say it was probably a crisis of confidence, obviously in a big way, but I would say I kind of had this, what do they call it? Epiphany? This moment of clarity that said, look, what you have to say and what you do out there in the world has value. And you can only help that value grow and increase by getting comfortable, getting out there in front of people and being willing to set up a time to, stand in the front of the room, get on YouTube Live or eventually Facebook Live or wherever and share what you have to share. Because I'm not up here trying to be anybody that I'm not, that I'm really not. I am myself. All my quirks, my, insecurities, those things are all part of who I am and what make me me. And I could either hide from them or I could avoid, trying to put it out there for the world to see. And I wouldn't change anybody's perception. I wouldn't help anybody. I wouldn't be able to do any good out there in the world because nothing happens when you keep yourself on the bench. Or I can get myself out there and, roll the dice and see where it goes. Does everything go perfect? No, zero. Things rarely go perfect. But at the end of the day, that's okay. I had to give myself, the credit for what I want to share with the world, and I have to let myself not fall back to being prone to excuse making and letting fear consume me. So that is why I am testing my limits. I'm doing new things like this YouTube Live, trying to get people to get an understanding of what this concept about rippling is all about. And so I've been making videos for a while. I think I'm getting better at making those videos, but I also think there's some real value in just what comes out of your mouth in a real moment, right? What's coming through your brain and through your heart at the time that you think it. And so by way of explaining that this morning, I wanted to share that because as I look at doing this live summit here in the next few hours, I have to smile because I know how far I've come and how honored I am to be in front of anybody at any point, at any phase, to share some ideas around the power of the ripple. And whether it's a live virtual summit for the FreeCon virtual summit this morning at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, by the way, or sitting in front of an audience of 10,000 people for a keynote, or spending time at a leadership retreat, helping leaders understand the importance of how the ripple can be applied to their business, to their environment, to their culture, to their customers, their prospects. I am blessed and I am truly grateful for everything that the world has brought to me and the opportunities that I get to realize because I took myself off the bench. I got in the game and I quit worrying about being perfect. And I suspect that if you see this and you recognize some of those tendencies in yourself, if you need anybody else to utilize as an example, you will never find a guy that is more shy and more introverted than this guy. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. Get out there, share your talents, your treasures with the world, and you will just be amazed at where that may lead you. So, little food for thought today that I wanted to share, and I hope you're doing well. And as always, my friends, ripple on.